Loneliness is one of the most widespread yet rarely acknowledged fears in men's lives. From an evolutionary standpoint, humans are wired for communal living, gathering around shared fires, relying on collective defense, and finding reassurance in the familiar voices of companions in the darkness. In modern times, turning down social invitations, avoiding group conversations, or spending a Saturday alone can feel like a slow descent into irrelevance, as though one is gradually disappearing from the social world. The fear of being left behind gnaws at many, making solitude seem like a form of exile rather than a choice. Yet, the Sigma male rejects this conventional narrative. While others might interpret solitude as emptiness, he sees it as potential. He understands that much of what society calls connection is little more than shallow interaction. Polite exchanges that lack true substance. An empty calendar, often misread as a sign of loneliness, becomes for him a blank slate for growth and self-mastery. The Sigma male is not impervious to the ache of isolation. Instead, he uses it as a crucible. The same emotional heat that drains men dependent on constant social validation only sharpens his discipline and independence. But this raises two pressing questions. Why does this mindset leave the Sigma male with so few companions? And why does he willingly accept that trade-off? This examination explores 8 fundamental reasons why Sigma males frequently tread a solitary path, and why they not only endure but thrive in that solitude, finding in it a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. 1. The guarded fortress, protecting privacy at all costs. To the Sigma male, personal details are not casual conversation. They are guarded intelligence, disclosed only under strict necessity. He may offer surface-level facts, his profession, a neutral opinion, or a bland anecdote, but the moment the discussion veers toward deeper territory, he skillfully shifts focus. This is no accident. It is a deliberate defense mechanism, a way of maintaining control in a world where oversharing is a norm. The power of withheld information. Once private matters enter the public domain, they cease to be his own. They become ammunition for gossip, tools for manipulation, or excuses for unwanted opinions. The Sigma male understands this danger all too well. By keeping his finances, family dynamics, and long-term ambitions concealed, he removes the very handles others might use to steer his life. His silence is not insecurity, it is strategic. He refuses to give society the keys to his decisions, knowing that once those doors are unlocked, they are nearly impossible to close again. The perception of distance. This calculated discretion inevitably shapes how others perceive him. Some mistake his reserve for coldness, his self-containment for arrogance. They assume he is uninterested or unapproachable, and often they withdraw before any real bond can form. The Sigma male is fully aware of this effect and accepts it without regret. He would rather endure occasional misunderstandings than sacrifice his autonomy. To him, privacy is not just a preference, it is sovereignty. Every unasked question, every unshared secret, is another brick in a fortress that keeps his life his own. Fewer friendships may form as a result, but those that do are built on genuine respect, not forced intimacy or false familiarity. 2. The self-sustaining engine, generating happiness independently. While most men depend on the rhythm of social rituals, weekly game nights, endless group chats, weekend bar crawls, to stabilize their moods, the Sigma male draws contentment from an entirely different source. His emotional fuel comes not from the chatter of a crowd, but from the quiet hum of his own mind. Where others scramble for constant connection to stave off loneliness, he finds richness in solitude, his happiness radiating from within rather than being borrowed from others. The joy of solitary pursuits. For him, fulfillment is found in the crisp pages of a book, the burn of morning workout, the steady progress of mastering a new skill. Personal projects, whether writing, coding, crafting, or strategizing, absorb him completely, not as distractions from loneliness, but as meaningful engagements that require no audience. His satisfaction is self-contained. He doesn't crave applause or reassurance to validate his pursuits. While others grow restless without social stimulation, he thrives in silence, his mind both the spark and the heart of his own joy. The disconnect from social dependency. Because his well-being isn't tied to the presence of others, he feels no obligation to force himself into gatherings out of fear of missing out. Friends may misinterpret his absence as aloofness, assuming he's indifferent or detached. But the reality is far simpler. He simply doesn't need the crowd to feel alive. While social men panic at the thought of an empty calendar, he sees open space as freedom, time to think, create, and move at his own pace. This self-reliance inevitably narrows his circle. Acquaintances drift away when their invitations are met with calm refusal. Yet he doesn't view this as loss, but as refinement. The few who remain are those who understand his rhythm, and those are the only ones he ever needed. 3. The slow-burning trust. Patience over proximity. The Sigma male approaches trust like a jeweler assessing raw diamonds, scrutinizing each facet under cold light before committing to its value. Where others exchange loyalty like casual handshakes, he treats it as a solemn contract, notarized by time. Overtures of instant friendship strike him as reckless, even manipulative. He knows true allegiance isn't declared, but proven through silent consistency, the quiet vetting process. His evaluation operates in the shadows. A deliberately shared opinion tests whether his perspectives will be respected or ridiculed. He observes how potential allies behave when stressed. Do they lash out or maintain integrity? Broken promises, even trivial ones, are noted like red flags in a dossier. Most never realize they're being assessed, mistaking as measured distance for disinterest. When their rushed demands or intimacy meet as immovable patience, they often withdraw, chasing easier validation elsewhere, the reward of selective bonds. Those rare individuals who pass as unspoken trials, who demonstrate unwavering discretion, who remain steady through storms, gain gradual entry into his inner world. These connections, forged through years rather than weeks, become as unbreakable as tempered steel. The Sigma male willingly forfeits the illusion of popularity for this precision in bonding. Where others drown in a sea of shallow acquaintances, he stands firm on an island of his own making, populated only by those who've earned the right to stay. For the drama-free existence, walking away from chaos. The Sigma male moves through social landscapes like a ghost, present, but untouched by the turbulence around him. He recognizes that many groups unconsciously feed on conflict, whispered betrayals, petty power struggles, the constant hum of manufactured crises. Where others get swept into these undercurrents, he remains dry land, refusing to be pulled into storms that serve no purpose. His indifference to drama isn't aloofness, it's self-preservation. The immediate exit strategy, his response to toxicity, is swift and surgical. The moment conversations twist into manipulative debates or thinly veiled emotional traps, he withdraws, sometimes with a polite but firm boundary, often by fading into the background without explanation. He understands that drama survives only through engagement, and by denying his attention, he starves of oxygen. Those who thrive on chaos, finding no foothold in his calm, eventually turn elsewhere in search of more reactive prey, the unintended consequence. This relentless avoidance of nonsense comes with a side effect. Some interpret his refusal to play social games as inaccessibility. They mistake his boundaries for walls, his discernment for detachment. But to the Sigma male, the trade-off is more than fair. The silence left in drama's absence becomes fertile ground, space for deep work, uninterrupted thought, and relationships built on substance rather than shared enemies. As the noise fades, what remains is a life of deliberate simplicity. And to him, that quiet is not isolation, it's freedom. 5. The relentless focus, prioritizing goals over gatherings. For the Sigma male, purpose is not a casual pursuit. It is a singular obsession that commands his time and energy with monastic devotion. When he locks onto an objective, whether sculpting his physique, ascending the ranks of his profession, or birthing a creative vision into reality, every minute becomes a precious resource to be invested, not spent. Social engagements are not inherently rejected, but they must justify their place in the economy of his ambition. The ruthless evaluation of social engagements. Each invitation passes through a merciless internal tribunal. Will this gathering replenish his energy or deplete it? Does it align with his trajectory or threaten to veer him off course? He measures conversations not in laughter, but in value exchanged. Will this interaction sharpen his mind or dull his edge? The moment an event registers as a net loss to his momentum, his decline is immediate and without apology. He would rather be seen as unavailable than uncommitted to his own evolution. The solitude of achievement. Where conventional men mark their calendars with social obligations, the Sigma male tracks his progress in silent victories. Completed chapters, perfected techniques, conquered benchmarks. He knows with cold certainty that between every great achievement stretches a lonesome road, one that crowds cannot walk beside him. While others fret over fading friendships, he measures the growing distance between his current self and the man he once was. The world may call his choices isolation, but he recognizes them for what they truly are, the necessary price of mastery, paid in solitude and cashed in excellence. 6. The uncompromising standards. Quality over quantity in friendships. The Sigma male approaches friendship with the precision of a master curator assembling an exclusive collection. Where others accumulate acquaintances like trinkets, he seeks only those rare souls worthy of his unwavering loyalty. Shared hobbies or pleasant conversations aren't enough. His criteria are exacting and non-negotiable. He demands raw honesty that cuts through polite lies, respect that honors his boundaries instinctively, reliability that shows up unshaken by storms, and support untainted by secret envy. These aren't preferences to him. They're the bare minimum for earning a place in his life. The silent elimination process. Potential connections undergo ruthless, if unspoken, evaluation. Many initially pass the first test, charm, wit, or common ground, only to falter when reliability is needed at 2 a.m. or when asked to swallow an uncomfortable truth. The Sigma doesn't announce these failures. He simply stops reaching out, allowing the bond to wither from neglect. Most never realize they've been assessed and found lacking, mistaking his gradual withdrawal for aloofness rather than the deliberate pruning it truly is. The strength of the inner circle. To outsiders, his social world might appear barren, a stark contrast to the bustling networks of more gregarious men. But what he lacks in quantity, he more than compensates for in quality. The few who meet his exacting standards form an inner circle of unshakable allies, relationships that withstand unemployment, heartbreak, and personal evolution without fraying. These bonds demand no performative maintenance. Months of silence won't weaken them, and crises only prove their mettle. While others chase the dopamine hit of constant social validation, the Sigma male cultivates something far more durable. A hand-picked brotherhood where every member has already proven they'd walk through fire, and that's worth more to him than 1,000 hollow connections. 7. The calculated socializer, accepting only high-value invitations. The Sigma male approaches social interactions with the discernment of a seasoned investor evaluating potential ventures. Every engagement must yield measurable returns. He instinctively filters invitations through a ruthless cost-benefit analysis, weighing time and energy expenditures against tangible rewards. Where others attend gatherings out of obligation or fear of missing out, he participates only when the exchange is unequivocally worthwhile. The formula for engagement. His decision-making process follows an uncompromising rubric. Will this event expand his knowledge through stimulating discourse? Does it promise genuine enjoyment rather than performative pleasantries? Might it cultivate a connection of substance rather than another forgettable acquaintance? If an invitation fails to meet at least one of these stringent criteria, his refusal is immediate and devoid of apology. He treats his attention as a finite resource, too precious to squander on hollow interactions that drain rather than enrich. The self-reinforcing cycle. This selective approach creates a self-perpetuating filtration system. As he consistently declines trivial engagements, the frequency of frivolous invitations dwindles. Social parasites and energy vampires gradually remove him from their lists, recognizing his unwillingness to participate in meaningless exchanges. The result is a streamlined social landscape where only the most valuable opportunities persist. What remains is a curated calendar, free from the clutter of obligatory appearances, leaving him with undiluted time and focus for pursuits and people that truly align with his purpose. To the Sigma male, this gradual winnowing isn't isolation, it's liberation. 8. The constant evolution, outpacing the static crowd. The Sigma male exists in a state of relentless reinvention, his life a rotating spotlight shifting between physical mastery, professional dominance, intellectual expansion, and creative expression. While others settle into comfortable routines, he operates like a shark in deep water, understanding that stagnation equals spiritual death. His interests mutate quarterly, his skills sharpen monthly, his worldview evolves weekly. This isn't restlessness. It's the deliberate cultivation of a self that refuses to fossilize, the drift of predictable companions. Inevitably, those bound to static lives find themselves left behind. The drinking buddies from his 20s can't comprehend his meditation practice. Former co-workers still trading office gossip seem juvenile compared to his entrepreneurial ventures. Shared hobbies become relics. Inside jokes lose their punchlines, and once vibrant connections fade into polite check-ins. The Sigma observes this erosion with clear-eyed acceptance. He mourns not the loss, but pities those who stop growing, the non-negotiable growth. For him, personal evolution isn't a phase. It's the entire point of existence. Relationships that can't stretch to accommodate his newest iteration are shed like outgrown skin. The social casualties of his ascent don't represent failure, but necessary attrition. As his circle contracts, the quality of his remaining bonds intensifies. Only those equally committed to growth maintain the stamina to walk beside him. The path grows lonelier, yes, but also purer, leaving him unfettered by anchors as he sails toward horizons most will never dare approach. Conclusion: the Sigmas trade companionship for sovereignty. The Sigma male sparse contact list is not an accident of circumstance. It is a masterpiece of intention. While others chase the cacophony of crowded rooms, measuring their worth by the sheer noise they can command, he values something far rarer: the crystalline purity of his own undrowned voice. His world may seem barren to those who mistake quantity for quality, but in this carefully curated silence, he finds something perpetually connected never will: the uninterrupted frequency of his authentic self. Fewer conversations mean fewer borrowed opinions cluttering his mind. Less small talk leaves more room for thoughts that cut deep and efforts that bear weight. The peace he cultivates isn't found by accident. It is seized through ruthless elimination of all that is unnecessary. What looks like isolation to the outside world is, to him, the sacred space where true mastery unfolds. This is the bargain he makes with eyes wide open, trading the warm illusion of constant companionship for the unshakable sovereignty of a self-directed life. To the socially dependent, the price seems exorbitant, but the Sigma knows no currency is more valuable than complete ownership of one's time, attention, and purpose. He would rather move through the world light and unencumbered, charting a course entirely his own, than arrive at some crowded destination wearing another man's footprints like shackles. The question isn't whether this path is right or wrong, but whether you possess the courage to walk it. Do you? Do these ideas resonate with you? If you found yourself nodding along or reflecting deeply on the traits and experiences we explored in this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts. The Sigma male mindset isn't often talked about openly. In your perspective, whether you identify with it personally or have encountered in others, adds valuable depth to the conversation. Drop a comment below and let me know. Which part hit home the most for you? Have you seen these traits in yourself or someone you know? Your insights help build a community where authenticity and growth are prioritized over popularity and performance. If you're drawn to this kind of introspective, no-nonsense content around Sigma males, psychological strength, emotional intelligence, and high-value living, there's more waiting for you. Explore the other videos on this channel for deeper dives, actionable insights, and raw truths that cut through the noise. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay sharp, stay grounded, and stay unapologetically real. Until next time.